Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Miss Shaneise Mitchell. She's an informational, educational, motivational speaker. Welcome to the show, Miss Mitchell.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Brown.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all.
I'm Shaneise Mitchell. I was a single parent recently, but now I'm married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'll speak for youths in the community. I go to schools. I work with youths as a mentor, a motivational speaker, just motivating the teens around the Charlotte area and different counties.
What's the name of your organization, your business?
Stepping Out on Faith.
What made you decide to want to name it that? Stepping Out on Faith. That's very interesting.
Well, being a Christian, I had to think of something that will be worthwhile to the community and something that meant a lot. And being that I'm from New York City, coming down to Charlotte was a transition. I had to step out on faith. I didn't know what made me move to Charlotte, but I stepped out and came, and I entered a good organization to work for. And then while in the organization, I received my bachelor's degree and then my master's degree recently in counseling. So I just stepped out on faith and tried to do everything. And having that as a business just showed a motivation for anybody to want to step out on faith to do something.
How long have you had your business?
Well, I've been mentoring and speaking for 2 years.
Correct.
But now I just put it into motion to where I want to do it more as a business attitude and working more with others and bringing it nationwide.
As far as why do you figure there's a need for mentoring our youth, especially in our community?
Look at what's going on in the world. Our teens are all this violence, teens going to jail, killing each other, having fights, the music coming out now. I mean, some of it is positive, but it just brings me to the thought of the music from way back in the 80s, maybe, self-destruction. Our teens are headed for self-destruction the way things going. We look at them as being our future. How can they be our future with them going to jail, robbing, killing, stealing each other, disrespecting parents, disrespecting school teachers, not wanting to get an education anymore, just want to be something that has no meaning in life. Our teens need meaning in life. Many adults now are scared to work with different teens because of how they may react, what kind of disposition they bring to them. I just want something different for them. I see that if you give love to a teen, maybe they will show different ways. Maybe they have better ways. I don't know. I don't want to blame parents because a lot of times it's not just the parents, it's also the teen and the environment. And if we do something different, step out on faith, we can make a change.
Okay, how important is it for us to really listen to the youth in addition to, talking to them? Because a lot of them have a lot of things that are going on in their life that we really don't really listen. They want to tell to somebody. Why is it so important?
It's so important for them to be able to tell somebody because when you hold things on the inside of you, it kills you as an individual. And when you're able to bring it out and talk to somebody and not just talk, well, where this person can listen to you and understand where you're coming from, then maybe that impact will be so much better. They will know that someone is listening. Someone that's not just blocking them out. Because a lot of times people don't have time for it. But sometimes we take our time and sit down and talk to them and hear what they really got to say and help them understand what they're saying, what they're going through, how to deal with it. It could make a change. A lot of change, a lot of different ways. To think outside of the box, not always just what they're thinking from their friends, what they get from their friends or from this rap music sometimes. Sometimes from a positive adult sentence, say, well, yes, I've been there, I understood. Let me tell you how I dealt with it. And you can see if the way you want to deal with it, it corresponds and you can make it work for yourself.
When you go to these schools and when you go to these meetings with the youth, what do you feel what do they say are some of the biggest issues that they have in our society?
People not listening to them, their parents not listening, not trusting, parents not understanding where they coming from, how things are or seeing. Time, they want time. Sometimes time with the parents. Sometimes the parents are split apart. And sometimes they want more love from dad, more love from mom, or sometimes dad is telling them about mom this, or sometimes mom, and it's really pulling them two different separate ways that they're having a hard time with dealing with it. And maybe if we just sit down and listen, we can help them deal with it on a positive way. But sometimes they have to speak not just on the inside, but on the outside. Maybe a voice from the outside, a positive voice on the outside speaking to them, that helps out too, because sometimes youth is not comfortable with speaking with their parents.
What do you mean by that? Not speaking to their parents. I mean, why aren't they comfortable with talking to the communication with the parents?
Sometimes it's good. I'm not saying it's not good to speak with your parent, but it's always good, I find, to also hear it from another one. Because sometimes we say, like when we was growing up, our parents tell us stuff and we didn't want to hear it. But then we speak to someone on outside and we think in our head, well, my mother and my father just said the same thing. So they do know a little something about what they talking about. Let's try to listen, and that helps also too. I mean, you don't want to just have anybody talking to your child. You want to have somebody talking to these children that's able to talk to you too, but somebody also to talk to them that's able to relate and understand, and not giving them bad decision-making options to take.
Do we have enough activities for our youth in our community, in your opinion?
In my opinion, no. I'm from New York, and we had many different opportunities. As far as summer school, you got to go to summer school if that's what you wanted to do. You had summer youth jobs for them. You had parks where you go to play basketball, do different things, play handball. Here is very limited, and then the transportation, you always have to depend on somebody to drive you somewhere. We didn't have to depend on anybody in New York because you had the buses, you had subways, you can walk to areas. It's not safe to walk anywhere around here really because the sidewalks are very limited. It's a lot of dirt roads. And I know for myself, I don't like walking on the dirt roads.
Correct.
I prefer sidewalks to get from point A to point B. Then I would walk more if that was an option here, but it's not enough sidewalks. There's not enough activities. The money, parents don't have the money for the kids. New York, they offer free programs for them to go to. They offer late night gyms, and I understand the safety. Some people thinking about, well, there's a safety issue because the teens can't get along with each other. All these gangs things coming out now. We have to decide how we're gonna tackle that issue about the different gangs, how to alleviate that. Like I said, that's why I brought up self-destruction. Self-destruction was a rap record brought up
Correct.
in the 80s again by they had all different rap artists there. They wasn't talking about battling each other and fight. They was talking about something positive, something we need to think about. And that's what we need to think about now because the teens are headed for self-destruction. These are our future. How are we supposed to look at them?
How big of an issue are gangs in the community? Because I think a lot of people are starting to join these gangs to get some type of unity. Why is it so vital that these youth find out that gangs are not the way to go?
That's a very good question. Something that I'm still circulating about of why they really choosing that. Because in order to be part of a gang, you have to get jumped into it. Why would I want to be a part of something where in order to get into it, I got to be beat up to be considered as being a part of? How is that a gang thing? How is that you're my friend, but you beating up on me first? How am I supposed to really relate to that? I'm not understanding how that. And then it's also something about being connected. Why must you feel connected to people doing something that's not positive? Something that where in order to get out of it, you have to die to get out of it.
I think a lot of people look as far as gangs, as far as that unity that they see, and a lot of that love that they see from their fellow companions that they don't see at home. They may be missing that familyness, and they see it within that gang, but that's not the way to go, because there's a lot of violence in those gangs.
Yeah, I understand. I would say sometimes they're not feeling the love at home, because even people who feel the love at home, you got both parents there or just the mom there, whatever, you're still receiving the love, but you still want more because you want to be down. And that, we still, as a community, as the world, we have to get together and see, why is that considered as being down, as being part of a gang? How does that make you more of an individual, more of a person? This is why I thought of stepping out on faith. Because stepping out on faith, you stepping out of that gang life, that gang mentality. You want to change yourself. I know I had someone tell me once before, if you dress the part, you be the part. So I want to have them where they come to this group atmosphere. We sit down and we talk. We talk not just about yourself, but about things in the community. Things could be changed, things you want, something you want to do better as an individual, and then come together. But in order to come to this group, you have to dress. Not dress with your pants hanging down, wear a belt, wear a shirt, wear a tie, even a jacket and some shoes. Because you start looking at yourself in a different way. You start feeling a different way. Feeling and making it known that you can make it despite of whatever comes your way.
How important is personal appearance play within our community? Because I know a lot of people judge you by the way you dress, your appearance. How about that to explain that to the youth?
I try to tell them, well, you have your pants hanging down. So I try not to judge you. I really don't want to judge you. But because you have your pants hanging down, the words that come out of your mouth may not be the image you want to portray. And a lot of people see as your pants hanging down, your pants sagging, you just yelling and talking, as being a gangster. Is that really what you want to portray as yourself? In corporate America and business, they don't do that. They dress the part, be the part. Maybe they feel it's just a show, but it's a show that's making you feel as a better individual, a better person, making people want to deal with you more, making people want to take time and spend with you. If you see me on the street dressed like this compared to another individual with their pants hanging down asking for directions, most people would rather give someone dressed like myself directions than taking time to give that other person directions, because they feel like they would be scared. What are they going to do to them? What's going to happen? So we have to change the image in order to change the perception of people.
How important does peer pressure play on the way our youth and our community behave?
It has a tremendous impact. And if we can change one or two from that peer pressure and make them more easier to deal with the pressure, then not just one or two, more will want to join in. But you have to show them that there's a positive effect for changing from that.
You know, I mean, when you go inside these schools and you hear the kids, you know, we look at as far as the grades. You know, sometimes our kids feel like if they make A's and B's, that they are considered as a smart individual, and some people tease them because they're making A's and B's. So how much of an impact does that play in the kid wanting to make less of themselves because they're afraid that the kids are going to tease them because of their success?
It all goes with, I believe, how you was raised and what you was told. And it has an impact on you in school as having success and what you do. I mean, just because a person make A's and B's doesn't mean they're going to get the best job. Because we have individuals out in America who have no degree, no high school diploma, but are a success. And I'm not saying that's something good for I used to do not to have that, because they still are people. But it's a hard question to answer as far as that go. But when I step into the schools and I see a person who has C's and D's, I talk to them and I work with them as to what the problem is, because a lot of times they are smart individuals, but they just don't want to apply themselves because the perception people